You suddenly appear on the stage of America's Got Talent. 1,000 people are clapping and cheering. The crowd goes silent, and Simon Cowell tells you to start. What talent do you perform? Crying. It is quite a talent to cry on demand. You're through to the next round. What do you perform in the semi-finals? Not really on demand though, more like crying due to crumbling under pressure. Do I just appear in the semis, or do I know I am going there this time? You appear, just like you did in the first round, so I guess you'll be crying again, right? Yep, more crying. And in the finals, you'll be crying again, only this time, you'll have some dudes harmoniously crying in the background. Anyone in this thread told you yet? You've seen way too much of this show. With fireworks. You end up at the Oscar, winning Best Crying Actor Ever in Drama category. What will your speech be about? Crying. I would just shout thanks, peace, and then exit stage left. And for my previous trick, I erase the last 5 minutes of your memory. Thank you for being a fantastic audience. Back to you, Simon. Brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, I used ZA Hando to erase the audience's memory. Ain't that crazy? KINGCRIMSON. I can fit my whole fist in my mouth. Wanna see? How would you top that unbelievable talent in the semi-finals? Someone would have to have ESPN or something and predict the weather with their boobs. And then fit one in their mouth. Edit, but only if it's raining out. They do that all the time, they just never write. There's a 30% chance that it's already raining. Fist in the other orifice. I can fit my whole mouth in my fist. Perform a formal apology about wasting their time for the solid minute and a half. What would you do in the semi-finals? Beg for forgiveness. But you're wasting more time by begging for forgiveness. I'm saving my vigorous self-flagellation for the finals. But what happens when you wake up and realize it was all just a dream? Jerk off, roll over back to sleep. Hey, he asked me, but yeah, jerk off and back to sleep. You jerk off to Simon Cowell? You don't? I've always thought that I'd like to see a show so you think you can duck where Simon Cowell and Gordon Ramsay are two of the judges of people trying for a porn career. You don't? Till Canadians can participate in America's Got Talent. Wasting people's time. And I'll stand there silently until someone finally gets uncomfortable enough to ask me to leave. But there I'll stand, silent, until they have me forcefully removed. Best thing I've read all week, and I read a lot. The best thing for me was probably Doors Are for People with No Imagination. Strike a pose and hold it, even as they carry you off the stage. For my next trick, I will leave this room without using my legs. You can even start off by looking left off stage and doing that little head nod to let them know they can start the music track, but then nothing plays, but you keep acting like you're about to start singing. Tell them you have cancer, you'll last through the semis with that. A live reading of the contract every contestant has to sign. It's seriously ducked. Best response: my singing teacher at college got sent one. This was years back, and she said it had been amended to include the entire solar system where you still had to pay Cowell royalties after some band had managed to dodge paying by playing outside of countries mentioned in contract. Might have been Liberty X edit. This is the one. Edit. Google am bad. Apparently okay. https:// www www.belfast-telegraph.co.uk/entertainment/film-tv/news/x-factor-x-contract-reveal-2846124.html but same Simon. That's just criminal WTF. This is the one that she got for X Factor. Sorry, I think this was pre-Country X Got Talent, but this is what I was referring to. https://www.belfast-telegraph.co.uk/entertainment/film-tv/news/x-factor-contract-reveal-2846124.html. All those singing contest shows are explicitly to find some talented people for the music industry to exploit. That way they make money not only on the artists who subsequently sell songs, they are also making money out of the entire process of finding and developing talent, all while simultaneously generating an audience for the singer before they've even released a song. It's a special kind of evil marketing genius. The Got Talent shows at least have a variety of performers. I'm sure the contract is just as exploitative, though. Music business major here. I also turned down a major record deal from one of the big four. Here's what goes down in pretty much every contract. It should be noted that the producers of the show retain and exercise the right to kick off or keep whomever they want. Did you win a contract? That sucks, because your record label gets full creative control, and they really don't care what your needs, wants, or desires. They'll also literally laugh at your desire to have artistic integrity. If you have any left, wanna or need to make money, that's too bad. You'll barely get points, % on your merch sales, and that's where artists, big and small, make most of their money. Additionally, there are two types of copyrights that are applicable to music. PA, performance art, the song itself, not the recording, and senior sound recording, not the song itself, but the recording of it. If you wrote your own music, you'll get some of the points, % towards your song, but it's often split with producers or whomever helped write it. With senior, so many people take a chunk out of that, you'll likely see none of those royalties. Fun. Get a contract and want to work with another band of as a solo act? Hahaha. Number. With their sideman clause, they own you and anything you create or perform live, number matter what. Even if you pay for the album out of your own pocket, doesn't matter. They own it and they own you. They can even stop you from releasing anything on the side, if it doesn't meet their interests. Because you're a commodity, not an artist. And the worst one, and happens with most contracts, you make a killer record, but the record company has decided it's not going to be super easy to market. Maybe you didn't succeed on the radio in their second test market. They decide your work is not worth risking their bottom line, so they completely shelve the record, meaning it doesn't even get released. Or maybe it gets released, but they decide to do literally no advertising for it. You've tanked. It doesn't matter how good you are or how good the album, cause no one is gonna hear it. You have to pay back the money that you've spent recording an album, marketing you and that album. You'll have to pay back the cost of your producer, managers, sound engineers, everything, etc. It's kind of like working against commission with minimum wage. A lot of bands find themselves in the hole for $500 k $1 million within the first year or so. They have to pay that back with their revenue, be in the red, before getting the full amount of their royalties. Even if you achieve this, still have to pay out a huge chunk everyone else who gets %. The record company will have the option of dropping you, terminating your contract. They don't have to fulfill the amount of albums they agreed to, but you do. They often just let things hang in limbo until you just give up. You don't have the resources to win in court, and they know it. While that's a common legal tactic in any corporate or personal environment, it's a terrible thing. If you get sick while on tour, even if you have a major health crisis, they can sue you for breach of contract and lost revenue. You'll owe them the rest of your life, more so than you owe them without getting sick. This is why Alex Trebek, he's hinted at it, and Amy Schumer, she admitted to it outright, continue working despite being extremely unwell. The only way to have control over your records is to make it as an indie artist and build a significant following so that you have negotiating power. Then, you'll usually only want to go for a music publishing deal. However, it's gonna take a lot of time, money, and sheer luck to make it that far, and you're going to be exhausted. So exhausted that you'll burn out, because 99.99% of running your own music career has absolutely nothing to do with music. Should I keep going? Because I can. But I'll hold off because I'm a little late to the thread and I doubt anyone will even read this. Edit. I'm sorry for the typos. I'm on mobile and my hands are freezing. Thanks for the gold. While I totally appreciate it, and the ability to make my own sweet new avatar and to post in the coveted R lounge, I'd much rather see the money go to a local, to you, music program. Especially programs that focus on giving children access to music classes. Perhaps attend a music fundraiser bake sale and eat an entire plate of some kid's mom's brownies. Please, keep going. This is fascinating. All contracts have a likeness clause. Likeness is the identifiable part of your brand. The most notable type of likeness is your name, or band name. The record company can own your name indefinitely. Think of Bob Ross and all the crazy merchandise and Netflix streams he's got going on. I've even seen a Bob Ross action figure. Someone owns his likeness. Same with Mr. Rogers or Michael Jackson. They own your name. You don't. You can be contractual forced to continue to work with whomever the record company tells you to. Remember Kesha, and how she was assaulted by Dr. Luke? She couldn't get out of her contract with Sony. These contracts didn't used to be anywhere near this bad. This is a reaction to massive illegal downloading and sales completely plummeting. Pre-Napster, you would have the likeness and sideman clauses for sure, but you would have more, if I recall correctly, all points, percent, on merch, creative control, the ability to think outside the box, the ability to take artistic risks. Now that just doesn't happen. You'd also have the opportunity to make decent money. The record companies even had A&R reps. A&R reps are non-existent now. The indie movement was a response to the record company's response to Napster. However, indie artists work out for literally everyone. You can be acquired by a different record company. You'd have no say. Have you had enough? Have I had enough? Never. I love peeks behind the curtain. But I thank you very much for going on for me. You're too kind. Glad you enjoyed it. Yikes. Seems like you're better off making a Patreon and putting music on YouTube. Okay, but then you've gotta figure out how you're going to get strangers to listen to your music. Doesn't matter how good you are. A lot of people have an adverse reaction to their friends or acquaintances sharing their work, so that's not a good place to start, although that is totally where you should start. So how are you going to get a lot of people to notice you? You could argue you could do that by playing live shows, but these days artists have to pay to rent for the space. You'll only get paid if you meet the venue's requirements. Usually it's based on ticket sales of % off bar. Unless you have 50 plus people show up, it's not gonna be cost effective, so you're going to have to run at a loss. Then only 10% of 10% of 10% of people who saw you live will look you up on social media. The odds of them subscribing are even smaller. The odds of you seeing any significant revenue from all this work, it's even smaller than that. Very insightful. Thank you for sharing all of this. I had absolutely no idea the extent of their reach. Sickening. It's awful, and most people have no clue what they're getting into. They equate a record contract with making it big, when statistically speaking it's more likely to be the end of your career than the beginning. I'm sure there's a lot more awful stuff that goes on contractual, but I'm not a lawyer. Look at the music that is produced nowadays. You can tell the music industry is ducked. Are you referring to auto-tune? I think it'll go out of style sooner rather than later. It only became available for live performances around 2006, and that's why we saw such a huge influx of producers using it. Just like filters on photos. Fun fact, Stevie Nicks was the first to use auto-tune, but her engineers, did it in analog. She would go sharp on some of her notes, and so her engineers literally would put their finger down on the physical tape to make it slow down ever so slightly. When you're singing, or playing sharp, you're above the note, and almost between notes. So by putting their finger on her vocal track, the slowed down tape equated to her singing on key. That's why her voice warbles in her recordings. America's Got Talent had a winner, a homeless guy. He sang Sinatra tunes. He was just okay, but his backstory won him $1 million and a 6-month show in Vegas. His show closed after 3 days of no one buying tickets. They lost a ton on him. Edit: I am sure they made money on advertising and show revenue, but no royalties at all for him. I thought it was hilarious when a finalist for American Idol pulled a 180 and performed some raunchy, sexual, black leather, bondage-filled skit for his finalist show. He had done run-of-the-mill, basic favorites up until then. His rendition of Mad World was duckin' great. Then he went and undermined the pre-existing fan base and went nuts. As a kid I was disappointed. As an adult, man, that was gold. When you can vote by buying a song on iTunes, I think it's pretty clear what the goal is. I guess if you've got no music career at all and don't think you would offered size, it might seem appealing. But yeah, agree. I think it was. I also believe they got out of it when going solo. One Direction separating makes total sense now. Our separate directions. Different directions. Variant vectors. Differentiating diversions. No direction. TBF, they signed and renewed under Cowell's agency years after Factor. Now how to get to gig in Proxima Centauri that covers driving expenses. They own your biography as well. Not just songs you may or may not write, the clause used to read in perpetuity, throughout the universe when I read it music law class. Please elaborate. Put very simply, they own everything you've ever created and ever will create, as well as having near total control over everything you say and do publicly. The stories are fabricated as well. I know a girl who went to go on the show and they wanted her story for the emotional side. She didn't have one and they were trying to make one up for her and she didn't want to do it. You also have to audition for 3-4 people beforehand before you get to the big stage. So anyone you see isn't a surprise to the judges and conveniently ask for their story if it's something ridiculous. There was a guy on the show whose story was he got a really bad stutter from a military operation where an RPG struck a vehicle was in or that was near him and he took some shrapnel. But then he comes out with his perfect country song without a single problem. Goes through about 2 rounds I think, but almost a week after getting voted off there's some article that's completely blown away about how he faked his story and I think everyone started to get onto AGT. Then edit: I'm not saying that singing with a stutter makes it vanish is fake. The guy didn't have a stutter and was not in a military accident. That is the fake part of his touching story, not the stutter. I don't know this specific person, but I know several singers who stutter when talking, and have no issues when singing. That's pretty much what directed Scatman John. https://wikipedia.org wiki Scatman John into doing scat music. Larkin was worried that listeners would realize he stuttered, and his wife, Judy, suggested that he talk about it directly in his music. Working with dance producers Ingo Kays and Tony Catania, he recorded the first single, Scatman, Ski Bar Bop Bar Dop Bop. After his first big hit, he adopted the new name and persona of Scatman John. Even more impressive, listen to Ozzy speak a sentence then listen to him sing. It blew my mind the first time I heard him speak. Sounds like a completely different person. Yeah, I don't think the stutter while singing was impossible, but the contestant had no stutter in real life and never had an accident in the military. All this talk about stuttering and overcoming it, now I really wanna watch the King's Speech today. Yeah, people who stutter usually don't stutter when singing. It is possible but it's rare. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it has to do with some mechanisms, capacities for speech being located in the left side of the brain. But when you sing, the right side of the brain that deals with rhythm, melody and stuff like that is activated. Everybody's saying that the Scatman stutters, but he doesn't ever stutter when he sings. As someone with a stutter, I don't stutter when I sing, only when talking. Talking and singing come from different structures of the brain, hence why a lot of singers lose their accent while singing. But if the Scatman can do it, so can you. Talking and singing are different parts of the brain, so people who stutter don't stutter when they sing. I didn't even need proof to know this. You can tell how inauthentic it is by watching. Everyone is just faking it, and I mostly feel sorry for those people they spotlight for the obstacles they've faced in life that this show and network cherry-pick to exploit the audience. No shitty, but there have been people that have gotten bigger after being on the show and own their own stuff now, right? Dude, that's probably why we don't see the winners doing much publicly. I remember when Carrie Underwood became famous from American Idol. She was everywhere. Where are the winners of AGT? They get a contract in Vegas, but yeah, you don't hear much afterwards. It's because they don't really have much talent. The show should be called People from Anywhere in the World Who Are Not As Good as Professionals but Have a Sad Life Story. Magicians and comics typically are professionals, just at a level of stardom where simply appearing will help their careers. I knew about Pith the Magic Dragon for years prior to AGT. Granted, I don't watch the show, only YouTube clips that interest me. People with a sad life story form a dance troupe versus a comedian. I think it's also a little different. Singers are present everywhere: radio, commercials, talk shows. There are very few magicians and ventriloquists in the constant public eye. They only get a few Vegas shows if they win. It's not like they give the winner a spot in some Vegas casino to do their show for years or anything either. I was in Vegas last week and there were a few AGT winners with residencies there. I imagine if you're successfully packing the place through the end of the stint you've won from the show, you can leverage that into a residency. I hear more about the contestants that lose than the contestants that win. Cause the losers aren't bound by the contracts and have way more freedom. I remember there was some thought that one of the runner-ups on American Idol threw the competition so he wouldn't be restricted. I guess that's what I'm getting at, is that the people who are not under contract anymore seem to have the ability to actually grow and thrive. Like Puddles the Clown from America's Got Talent is way more popular than some of the others that actually won in the earlier seasons. That's literally what Clay Aiken did. He knew how shitty the contract was, so he intentionally tried to come in second in American Idol because he still got a record deal but wasn't bound to royalties and using American Idol winner on all of his stuff. Damn. Fucked indeed. I know several former contestants personally, and you are absolutely correct. For some reason, Central Louisiana was a breeding ground for that show many years ago, and it wrecked the budding careers of some really talented kids. American Idol viewers voters have a WGWG, white guy with guitar, and southern bias. Red how? How ducked is it? Holy shitty, what drives people to sign that thing? If you got any real talent, they almost literally own you. That looks like a contract from the devil to sell your soul away. Page 6. I hereby assign to producer the entire copyright and all other rights in and to such materials that I may have, own or hold, future copyright, throughout the universe. The universe? Really? Edit addendum. Shows like AGT are a huge opportunity with a big audience. It's only natural that TV wants to own the copyright if they make you famous. These contracts are almost a natural trade-off that has to do with the dogma that everything has a price and you get nothing if you don't work for it. If you want 1 million+ views on YouTube from AGT, then you have to pay a price. There is no easy route. Page 12. I may be required to enter into an agreement for the management of my career in the entertainment industry. Can that contract even be legal? Sounds almost like a slavery contract. Page 35. participants must be available on dates to be determined by producer. Double quote. Sounds like your best bet is to just breach the contract early on and tell them to go duck off. Every contract has to contain an escape clause or it's not a contract. Throughout the universe is commonly used in IP assignment contracts across many industries. I've seen it in a contract I was asked to sign as a software engineer before. It's just a way of saying yo, we really own this shit everywhere, rather than have to quibble in 10 years if the new country that formed after you signed counts, or if it counts if it's in orbit or something dumb like that. Throughout the universe, in perpetuity, in any and all media is standard legally speak to cover every base. PFFT. Those corporate plebs will be completely blindsided once we discover the multiverse. See for yourself. https://www.scribd.com/document/134719192/AGT-contract, or read some choice excerpts. https://www.theschleswigler-2roundup.com/08/004/take-a-look-inside-the-Americas-got-talent-context/ If the voting system fails, the producers may choose who stays or goes home, aka the entire thing is rigged. I was pretty disturbed about the part that says they can have hidden cameras in your bathroom and bedroom and can use the footage however they like. That's just ducking depraved. Edit. Typo. It says they can have hidden cameras in bathrooms and bedrooms. Still just as ducked. Sure, most of this footage will never be used for anything, but there's a small chance that one of them will become really famous and powerful, and having some blackmail material that you got legally can be very convenient. The entire thing is rigged given that it's television. It would be incredibly naive to expect anything else. Contestants are not allowed to take any personal photos during the show without getting permission from the producers. That's just egregious. I auditioned for the Canadian version of Idol 1 year. The contract is nuts. Still, I would have loved to go on the show and come in second place. All the publicity, none of the bullshitty contract afterwards. Well, here's the thing. If you suddenly appear on the stage and are told to begin, there isn't a reason to assume you have already signed a contract yet. At that point, you just read it to rub it in the face of the other contestants, and then, you serenade them. https://www.youtube.com/watch?HPY3GGKP. Can one just look it up? It's here. https://www.scribd.com/document/134719192/AGT-contract. I found it here. https://www.scribd.com/document/134719192/AGT-contract. But as a cynically whitey limerick, is there some handy way to summon Sam Garland aka you poem for your Sprog? Well, here's my rendition for what it's worth. You claim your fancy voice enchants, or that your dance is quite advanced, that crowds will cheer or love or hate your skill to prestidigitate and hope for mass acclaim, a household name and widespread fame. We offer all of this and more. This isn't something to ignore, so step right up and sign right here. Inscribe your name on white veneer. I have a quill right here for you, no matter that the ink's not blue. Some say it draws it from your veins. Oh, do forgive my rambling brain. We'll have you up on stage quite soon. And while you wait, in this here room a little tiny introduction on this black couch, is your instruction. Just say bit about your life, your wants and wishes, maybe strife. What's this, you ask? The light's too bright. Something doesn't seem quite right. It's really all standard procedure to handle clients at our leisure. We're sorry you're uncomfortable. It does say here, agreed in full, written below. without exception starts this quite exhaustive section, accepted ad infinitum, which means forever you silly plum, et ad universalitis. Must I dictate all of this? The Signy hereby waives all rights to mind, body, and soul alike, to give up personal direction, to bind their will at our discretion. To this they irrevocably consent, for everything we implement, from past to future, including present without complaint, without dissent. I could go on, quite long in fact, the fine print's half a mile of black, but what say you get down to work? It's time I used my company perk. That's it. Pose for the camera please. On the floor, on your knees. Edit. Finally. So it's almost better to be a loser and not have a contract but still famous enough people know you? Stare Simon right in the eye without blinking until he gives in. You know Simon is an evil robot and will never blink, right? Yeah, but Nightwolf75 is an eviler robot that will never blink even more. But then Zuckerberg joins the battle. Finally worthy opponents, our war will be legendary. Zuckerberg just licks his eyes instead of blinking. And then he grins. Then vigorously drinks water. You think you can match my style? No, worse. He only grins while he's doing it. I just lick my balls without breaking eye contact. I lick Simon's balls without breaking eye contact. You have to say no homo in process. The tongue isn't from his mouth, it's from his ass and it creeps everyone the duck out when it appears from behind him. I wear contacts. Blinking is optional. Wait, I never thought about it. Do you really not have to blink? No, you do. You can keep your eyes open for a while, though. I blink even more when wearing contacts because my eyes get dry and blinking is the only way I can keep the contacts from falling out. Edit deleted a word that didn't belong in there. My condolences. Have you told your eye doctor this? What will you do when he gives in? Fuck him probably. Dominance asserted. Crowd amazed. Buzzer buzzed. Simon ducked. Only here could a good-hearted conversation about a talent contest end with Simon Cowell getting forcefully anally penetrated. It's what keeps me coming back. Recite pi to 200 digits with a smattering of errors and then play Dance Dance Revolution on hard mode. Reciting pi but getting every digit wrong is more interesting. It's like getting a 0 on the SATs, you have to get a 1600 to make that happen. That actually sounds fun. Well, memorizing a lot of pi was fun. But most of my memory is attached to the sequence of numbers itself, so this challenge would disrupt that flow. Of course, I could just repeat 0 until I encounter an actual 0. The task would turn into counting and remembering less numbers. Also, lowest SAT is 400 and is easier to achieve than 1600 since it requires identifying only one of the 3 incorrect answers, but I get what you're saying. Or you could just fill in 2 answer bubbles for each question and get everything wrong without even reading the questions, though it certainly seems like a waste of money and ruining a perfectly good Saturday morning at that point. Edit, leaving the rest of the test blank after filling in your name and other info on the Scantron might also work, though I don't know if you'd actually still get a score at that point or if they'd be cancelled invalidated. Trying to bring down the average for everyone else. The hero we need. I imagine if you've already lined up a college that wants you and a scholarship, and your parents are still pushing you to take the SAT again and apply to more colleges, you'll go take it, on their dime, and purposefully flunk it. My friend did this, but with the ACT instead of the SAT. He scored a 28 on his first go, then scored a 20 when his parents pressured him to retake it. It was so unbelievably stupid. He had a full ride to a 4-year college that had a good engineering department, and his parents were adamant that he could go to an Ivy League school, so adamant that they paid for him to take the ACT and told him that if he didn't do it, he'd be grounded for that Saturday anyways, so he may as well go take it. Fun fact, he did go to that state college, ended up deciding he wanted to choose another field, went to a community college for 2 years for computer science, then back to the state college, got his bars and his masters, and now works at Google, specifically, for YouTube while finishing his PhD, at an Ivy League that gladly took him in once they saw he was a Google employee with a varied educational history, and he's not taken out a single student loan. His parents still chide him for taking so long to get there and beg him to come back home and work for a local company, because they seem fine with him moving away to get an Ivy League education, but not with him moving away and pursuing an Ivy League tier career. My high school math teacher had a policy that if you could answer every question wrong on a multiple choice you would get 100%, but no one ever took him up on it. But the real question is, can you do them both at the same time? Edit 1. Holy moly guys, this my most liked comment so far. Thank you all, I love you. That's for the semifinals. You have no idea how high I can fly. Maybe a smattering 160. Breaking down and crying, then spontaneously tap dancing. Outstanding. What do you perform in the semifinals? Try to off myself by choking and then spontaneously turning it into autoerotic asphyxiation by grabbing my DCK. The Major Tom. Are not a butoc. Let us take a moment to stop and reassess the direction of this thread. Well, I'm hoping to reach the finals. I'll go any direction you want. Ashley Simpson, is that you? Recite the entire script of the B movie. What would you do in the semifinals? Obviously recite the entire script of Shrek, right? How did you guess? I recite the script of Shrek twice daily. Not impressed. Will Smith does that too in that one movie. Truly he is legend. Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz and some of their friends' colleagues once did this too. Somebody. I just recite the entire script of history of the entire world, I guess. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's the Seljuk Turks. Going faster every time the word B is mentioned. Stand-up comedy. You spit your first joke, crowd is silent, you try another, nothing, what do you do now? Turn into Joker. Crowd bursts into laughter, Simon smashes golden buzzer. How about another joke, Cowell? Just saw the movie last night, loved that whole scene. What do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash? I'll tell you what you get. You get what you fucking deserve. You invited me to your show just to make fun of me. I mean, that's basically the audition round of America's Got Talent, isn't it? Especially because there are multiple auditions with multiple judges prior to seeing the celebrity judges. People are chosen specifically to be made fun of. Knock knock, it's the police, mom. Your son is dead. He got hit by a drunk driver. Something something society crossed with mentally ill loner something something getting what you ducking deserve yada 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 gunshot. Go back home, fuck a bitch, kill some asshole on the Tonight Show, get arrested, put in a psych ward, realize everything was fake. Yep, start telling jokes like, How do you play it safe at a bar, and make sure the object of your lust isn't a lesbian? Check for long fingernails. Biggest panic attack ever. What would you do in the semifinals? Well, I've seen the show, so same thing as in the audition but with backup dancers, some laser effects, and fireworks at the end. Imagine them all dancing in the background, and then, in harmony, you all have an epic panic attack. America's got anxiety. I mean, you're not wrong. At 4 years old I was diagnosed with cancer and in a few months I'm going to die. This will be the last song I'll ever sing, then sing All Star and Default Dance. I stand silent for 1 minute with poker face, say thank you and end anticipating applause, and talk to the judges. At the end collapse and have to take the interview on a stretcher with an ambulance on stage. Judge, wait, how did you get an ambulance and hair whip shot to singer, sitting up on the stretcher, defiantly looking back at the panel of judges one last time. Singer, I don't know and I don't care. The ambulance revs its engines. The sound of tires squealing fills the room before it slams into the prop wall, plunging into the backstage area, breaking all sorts of miscellaneous production equipment before smashing through a roller door and disappearing through into the night. We follow the ambulance through the collapsing door, note, hidden wire cut falling debris, and transition to an elevated view over the city. Roll credits from bottom of frame. All Might's secret move anxiety attack. United States of Stress, plus Ultra. United States of Anxiety, USA. Funny how that's actually a character quirk and story. If my all stress in life that I felt was comprised in one punch, I would duck and destroy this planet. I'd cry. At least it would go viral. New world record. If I could monetize this I'd be worth billions. I come up with an incredible backstory of being bullied and abused, causing me to be afraid of being in front of everyone. Then I tell a lame-ass joke or two and start my journey to the finals. This guy watches AGT. Seriously, if you don't have that pity me backstory, you're not going far. It's often comical when you get what would be an okay talent that gets golden buzzer through to the live show because of the sad backstory, and then you see them on stage with the people who fought tooth and nail through the other rounds and gasp are far more talented and they just look so awful in comparison. The teen girl who was a cancer survivor at a young age is who I often think of this, like she had a good voice for a high school student. She probably would have been a solid lead actress in her high school plays and maybe for the local theater group, but there's zero chance if she just walked out and said, I'm from every town, USA and I'm a singer and sang her song that she'd have even gotten past the primary audition. Once that initial heartstring tugging moment fades off, these people often find themselves without the talents to back up the stage they're on. So you say that you're a dancer, but we only want to know, have you had a little cancer? Have you faced a little woe? Did you lay to rest a mother? Did you fare thee well a wife? Have you lost a bigger brother? Have you lived a painful life? Did a battle leave you bloody, leave you broken on your knees? Are you dancing for a buddy with incurable disease? Are you fit to go the distance if we dangle you a dream? Can we peddle your existence? Can you make it as a meme? Can you find a tale and tell it? Can you keep it sweet and brief? Can we pack it up and sell it? Can we profit from your grief? It's the moment for your glory. It's the perfect time to shine. And we love to hear your story, if it boosts a bottom line. Possibly the most profound Sprog ever written. Fantastic. The is probably the best Sprog I've read, TBH. That's their talent for the show, making poems on the spot. I've been sprogged. This is apex redditing, boyos. That means you poem for your Sprog is top of the Reddit food chain, an apex redditor. That should be you poem for your Sprog is permanent universal flair. Works wherever the need for sprogging arises. Truly establish the apex redditor. Ah, Sprog. I've missed you. Red heart card suit. Yikes. That's good. Another doozy. Sprog. Well done. Putting the extra hour on a Sunday morning to good use. Edit. The clocks have changed in the UK. The US is next week. This is why I like The Voice so much. The judges don't even get to see what the singer looks like until they either give them their vote, or the person gets 0 votes. Yeah, they might get fed info beforehand, but many of their reactions just seem so genuine that it doesn't feel like they are. Oddly, I can't get into The Voice. I think it's the concept of teams that throws me off. I'd find it more interesting if each week they rotated coaches. https://youtube/JEZE3L-NKL for this Key and Peele sketch really nailed it. Yeah, it's a game within the game. Oh, we can't tell the cancer girl. No, let's just golden buzzer her. Go viral for a bit with the segment and she's just going to get slapped around in the live show and eliminated. No harm, no foul. That girl with the dog named Hero I found so intolerable because of this. She kept playing up how hard it was because her parents were not supporting her driving around performing stupid acts with her dog. Every time she was on screen it was boohoo, my parents don't respect me because I make poor life decisions. Well, no shitty. Your parents weren't happy about you not getting a job and driving around the country and sleeping in your car with your dog. I just kept thinking stop crying and open a training business. Literally, like, why wouldn't you financially support your own dreams? I see the majority of success stories supporting themselves with side work as they fought their way to being successful. I just kept thinking stop crying and open a training business. For what it's worth, every dog trainer I've worked with has had a day job in addition to being a trainer. Dog training doesn't pay that well because you need to rent space to work, which eats up all the lesson costs, and also you really only get clients at 6-9 p.m., which is when people tend to be available after work, so you work 3 hours a day tops. Only exception are the PetMart trainers, although I think the store loses money on training and just uses it to get customers into their building. I remember watching a little girl on one of those talent shows and she was a terrible singer but got passed on to the next round because she was cute. Is it really even a talent show at this point? Just look cute and make up a sad story, then you're famous. We need a no context show about people's talents. No chit chat or backstory. Just you and your talents in front of an honest set of judges. You are at an automatic disadvantage of you aren't attractive. You have to be literally incredible at your talents to get through if you aren't beautiful. Just look at the audience laughing at Susan Boyle or Simon rolling his eyes at Jonathan and Charlotte the opera singers because Susan and Jonathan were both not conventionally attractive. And then that ends up being their selling point. Tragic backstory. Don't judge a book by its cover. So many kids get through because of their cute looks combined with oh my mummy died last year and I know she is cheering for me, I heaven. Talent shows are ducking stupid and unfair towards true talent these days. We need a no context show about people's talents. No chit chat or backstory. Just you and your talents in front of an honest set of judges. The Voice did that. Now we just need it for talent shows and to not have shitty awful judges. The real problem is the audience. These unbiased no context talent shows have been done before but they don't make any money for the producers because people who watch these types of shows need the emotional drama. They need to feel like by voting for a certain contestant they are making the world a better place, uplifting the downtrodden, etc. It ultimately has little or nothing to do with the talent, but everything to do with the ability to get an audience hooked on a character's well-being, as if it were a soap opera, and dangle that character's well-being on a string called we have to eliminate someone. That's what makes the money, so that's what the shows do. They've done shows like that but it turns out no audience is interested in just seeing person after person who says, I've been practicing for 16 years and then is appropriately good at singing, dancing, etc. And as for real talents, we don't have time to watch someone spend 2 weeks on an oil painting or novel. Just give me impressive juggling and magic acts. Recently I watched My Country's AGT version and a boy who had a very average style of singing got the golden buzzer. I didn't understand it at all. He sounded like the kid from 21 Pilots at best and X200B. Edit, he already had a band, but he was a 16-year-old boy with a lot of passion and anger, and I was like, what about those two dancers who could injure themselves if they didn't know what they were doing? It's not a talent show anymore. It's a people-pleasing show and keeping up the bullshitty mindset of you can be anything if you really want it, which sadly doesn't work that way. I remember when I ironically applied for The Voice several years back, a couple of the questions was basically baiting people to tell their sad backstory. I guess mine was sad enough to warrant a call back, though not much further than that. Probably for the best though. I'm an amateur musician and the subreddits for people like me to post music, like our songwriters, are exactly that. On so many subs, having a sad story equals instant karma. LMAO Glennis Ducking Grace, famous in our country for years, goes to America with some sob story and they eat it like it's popcorn. I mean, raising a baby alone is tough, I get it, but she acted like she was some sort of undiscovered poor mother who gave up everything. Judges, okay, what's your name and why are you here? Me, nervously acting shy. My name is Cheese Puff Fluff and I'm here because my pet rock died and I suffered from a deep depression and smell blindness while my cancer-ridden parents got a divorce after the death of my younger siblings in a machete fight. Judges, start shedding tears. Okay, do what you want to do. Me, screams a classic rock song or some song with high notes while doing dance moves and flips along the stage. Judge, full on sobbing while congratulating me, stomps the golden buzzer. Don't forget being very patriotic and having a dying relative. I am an American, with an American grandmother who is dying in America. She stands for the national anthem, but she doesn't stand for bullying, good American bullying, which I have suffered through immensely as an American child. I will now recite the Pledge of Allegiance for my American grandmother as she stands at attention via rigor mortis. Go to throw in something about the military too. Either something about you or your family joining it, or some variation on the thank you for your service mummery. His grandfather served in the war, and didn't make it back home. One time I was at a hot dog vendor and I wanted a hot dog, an all-American beef Frank Macon America, but he suggested bratwurst with sauerkraut. I'll tell this brat what's the worst, and what makes a kraut sour. It's how my grandpappy didn't make it back from liberating Europe. You're welcome, Germany. If you want to see ultimate pity party winners, have a look at Britain's Got Talent last year. There were genuinely incredible acts, very complex magic, people balancing on swords, swallowing fire, truly amazing stuff. Who won? An old guy who used to be in the army and decided to wear his army medals, dedicate the song to his dead wife and get all his old veteran friends to be his backup singers. He couldn't even sing. It was absolutely ridiculous. A side note, a group of extremely mediocre female singers dress up in RAF uniforms and sang old World War II songs. They got ridiculously far into the show before they were voted off. None of them had anything to do with the military. I don't think singing should be allowed as a talent on this show. There are already several shows that focus on singers only. Let some people who can't sing have a shot. Agreed. It's just so boring. Okay, cool, you sang another person's song. That's a talent, sure, but it's not unique, if that makes sense. I don't think singing should be allowed as a talent on this show. There are already several shows that focus on singers only. Let some people who can't sing have a shot. Yeah, that's always annoyed me about BGT. I assume the American version is exactly the same. We already have X Factor, The Voice and more. We don't need more people singing. I think the only kind of singing that should be allowed is that which is not really seen on The Voice, X Factor etc., like opera or throat singing. I don't mind allowing singers, but they let so many through the auditions, judge cuts, etc. It waters down the competition maybe if you've got more stuff that isn't person singing pop or popular ARC songs, or person with a guitar or you playing their own songs that are boring poppy fluff. Get some ducking metal on that stage. I was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every morning I break my legs, and every afternoon I break my arms. At night, I lie awake in agony until my heart attacks put me to sleep. Neither of my parents were present at my birth. I can't for the life of me remember where this is from. SpongeBob? Yep, the episode where they sell chocolate. Golden buzzer. There's this British comic who signed up for BGT. He documented the whole process of Got Talent because he wanted to expose the show. He dressed up as a Jew and called himself the Rapping Rabbi, told a sad backstory and that he cared for his old dad, then rapped a kind bad rap about how a beautiful country the UK is and how he is so proud to be British. He got 4 yeses. He was a Jew, had a sad backstory, rapped and was a proud Brit. There was no way the world would have let him through. That's a great idea. You, my wife likes Asian cock. I come up with an incredible backstory of being bullied and abused, causing me to be afraid of being in front of everyone. Then I tell a lame-ass joke or two and start my journey to the finals. Obligatory Key and Peele. https://youtube/JEZE3L-NKL4. I lay on my back on the floor, put my feet up to my head, and proceed to repeatedly suck air into my ass and fart it back out. Been a couple of decades but I probably still got it. Edit. Ha. Thanks for the silver. I would lay money on you attempting this at some point in the next 24 hours just to see if you still can. If you haven't already. No promises, but it's not impossible. Is it possible to learn this power? I've taught another. It can be learned. May the farts be with you. Number. I'm like Luke in that new Star Wars movie where he's given up training Jedi. A day will come when my gift will be essential. Facing off against a foe sure to destroy us all. Out of the mist I'll appear. Failing reason and negotiation, I will spread my arms. Fall straight to my back. Raise my feet. Leaves will be torn from the trees and twirl in the wind as the air struggles to fill the low-pressure void surrounding me. I look my adversary in the eye, grin, and offer a final salute. In an instant, the very surface of the earth shreds and gives way to a concussive ripple of decaying corn dogs and buffalo chicken. In the aftermath, I am nowhere to be seen. Birds fall from the sky and the area will be uninhabitable for generations. But you shall live to fight another day. Not from a Jedi. Is that a skill? I can do that with my vagina. Yeah, well, some of us didn't come with those, so we have to make do with what we have. You could probably get one installed if you go to the right mechanic. And here come all the PMs. You're a flatulist Harry. Put a whistle in there, and your talent is good enough for Henry II. https://en.m.wikipedia.org Wiki Roland the Farter. I thought I was the only one that could do this. Gonna jump head first onto the stage floor, break my nose, hopefully get a concussion, never have to remember this ever again. Edit. Thanks for the gold K1 stranger. No for thanks a lot dude. My first popular comment and my first award. Thanks a lot. For your fearlessness and sheer bravery of jumping headfirst onto the stage floor, you have won America's Got Talent. What do you have to say to all the people out there? Where am I? Who am I? Why am I? Am I? What am I? I know you are, but what am I? They asked who am I, but no one asked how am I. 2 grams of coke. What would you smoke in the semifinals? Newspaper. You've got some serious contenders coming into the finals. How do you steal the show? Do shots of vodka through the newspaper I am smoking, and while intoxicated yell at the judges about how I hate the show Shark Tank. You've won the show. Gold confetti bursts out of the ceiling. Everyone is screaming and cheering. What do you have to say to everyone out there? Shut your mouths, you daft cunts, then proceed to puke and pass out into the puke, just like collage. You wake up, the sun is shining and the birds are singing. How do you go about your day? Just the usual. Head to work, hate my job, look for new jobs on Indeed, head to the gym after work, head home and get frustrated with my dad and stepbrother for being hoarders, repeat till days off, then drink my problems away. What happens when your boss sees you looking for a new job on Indeed.com? I start singing Cotton Eye Joe in the wrong key, accidentally make eye contact with Simon Cowell, dry heave, false alarm, no, wait, this is it, panic vomit, trip on my own vomit, start crying, try to grasp the microphone stand for stability, miss, finally grab it, pull it down with me, the microphone is now in the vomit, I say yes sorry into the microphone. There's loud grating feedback reverberating through the auditorium. The audience covers their ears. Simon Cowell's mouth still has not closed. PAs are running from off stage. The cameras are turned off and an ad for your local Kia dealership begins playing. You should be driving a Kia is heard in living rooms throughout the country. The audience is visibly uncomfortable. Mel B has begun to dry heave as well. A PA is trying to pick me up but he also trips on my vomit, and a snot bubble appears in my nostril, popping. And finally the background music is shut off and a second and third PA have arrived to clear me off the stage. My moment in the limelight has passed me by as quickly as it arrived. Then, you wake up in your bed. It's morning, the sun is shining and the birds are singing. What do you have for breakfast? Snot. Slurp. That's it, I'm deleting my account. Narrator, he did not delete his account. Why did I imagine this in a Stanley Parable trademark sign narrator voice? Do it you little backyardigan. This is the funniest shit I've read on this stupid website for a long time. This is art. You forgot, and then I go to die with jazz hands. Simon, well that was interesting. What do you call it you, the aristocrats? Great retoupe, but they would absolutely keep the cameras rolling during any kind of disaster meltdown. Fitting as many profanities as I can into a single sentence because what the flying hell am I doing on stage? I'm taking that idea and writing that on a piece of paper for my next audition. Oh boy, I can't wait to see you on the show. I'll remember this post. For sure, I'll be sure to cite inspiration from both you and Unadomi Live. Simon Cowell, I love it. There's so much raw emotion here. That's what your mother said last night, Simon. Gordon Ramsay would be proud. You make it through to the next round. What do you do in the semifinals? They might want to get Foreman on stage cause I'd start shitting bricks. Good night, sleep tight, and don't let the bedbugs put their foot in your ass. Comma profanity as a talent, what the flying hell. The helicopter with my DCK. Slams golden buzzer. Dot, with his DCK. Do it in time to music with a group of professionals behind you also doing the helicopter DCK. I say bye and walk out cause I'm talentless. You walk out, only to enter another stage, but this time, there's 2,000 people. What do you do now? You are probably a great psychological horror story writer. That's some bad dream situation. And this time there are two Simon Cowells. And they're kissing. The horror. The stupid, sexy horror. Go on. I'm almost there. And in walks his husband, who is home early from a business trip. He is also Simon Cowell. In a world with 3 Simon Cowells. The poor soul didn't think to look at the 2,000 people in the audience. Just take a guess who they are. You run out again, sweating uncontrollably, only to find yourself on another stage, this time with 4,000 people watching you. The worst part, they are all Simon Cowell. No, wait, one in the back. It's actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. Run. The never-ending horror. Does it keep going like that? In that case I keep walking out until there are 7 billion people in the crowd. Then I tell them to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you wanna beat that algorithm, you gotta get them to like and comment too though. I realize that it's futile to leave, so I start singing and dancing horribly. I trip on my 2 feet and go down hard. Miraculously, the lights malfunction and I'm out of there ASAP. Stand on my hands on a really odd way. Only met one other person who can do it the way I do, and they were in gymnastics their entire life. Edit. I wrap my legs around my arms and look kind of like a crab. Fascinating. How do you outperform yourself in the semifinals? Include timed stage lights and fireworks. Stand on Simon's hands. Can you show us this odd way? Put your hands under your feet. Shtti Kermit voice. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? It's not easy being green. Somebody once told me, the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb. With her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. And they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. And they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. And they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. And they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. And they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. And they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. And they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. And they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. Didn't make sense not to live for John. Your brain gets smart but your head gets dumb. Asking WHO Joe is like a total dumb fuck. I start with a fake tragic story of how my little brother is suffering of a disease and say that I'll use the money to pay for treatment. Step 2. Step 3. Profit. Golden buzzer. I was born at a very young age. Neither of my parents showed up at my birth. Might want to check if your family name isn't Defenchmas. As an orphan, my cat is retarded and I need the money to help him. So when I was younger, people would laugh at me when I told them that I was going to become a comedian. Well, I'm grown up now and no one's laughing anymore. Simon will shit his pants. And then proceed to punch out. You can say that again. Can you introduce me as Joker? I can put popcorn on my breast, hit the bottom of my boob and pop it into my mouth. You win. Can I ask what made you choose that name? It's hilarious. Are we talking man boobs, or massive pecs? I sing the Richard Cheese cover of My Neck My Back. Here it is. https://youtube /y7cglu0puqo. I ducking love Richard Cheese. Gotta get up, get down with the sickness. I stand silent for 1 minute with poker face, say thank you and end anticipating applause, and talk to the judges. Just tell everyone it's an interactive human art installation about the loudness of the global world. Wait, my sudden appearance on stage wasn't enough, I was silent for a minute after being born out of thin air. I reenact the JFK assassination with the actual dead, rotting body of John F. Kennedy. I hope I get the golden buzzer. I would reenact the assassination of Hitler instead. But didn't Hitler kill Himmler? Oh. Ho, are you approaching me? Instead of running away you are coming closer, even though your pitiful grandfather told you the secret of my stand, the world, like a middle schooler trying his utmost to leech answers into his classmate. Oh. At 4 years old I was diagnosed with cancer and in a few months I'm going to die. This will be the last song I'll ever sing, then sing All Star and Default Dance. For maximum pandering sing I Dreamed a Dream. I sing, Thank Duck I already do that. What would you sing? Good question. Probably Without Me by Halsey. I can do a lot of her songs fairly well even though I'm a guy, lol. Great song choice, you're through to the next round. What do you sing in the semi-finals? Osh T. Maybe something by Alec Benjamin since he's my favorite artist but his songs are harder so I'd need to up the ante a little bit. Probably Paper Crown. Whoa, you sure have nice taste in music. I especially like Let Me Down Slowly by Alec Benjamin. You're through to the finals. What do you perform next? Man, that's a tough one too. For that one I'll go with something more exciting probably. Maybe Here by Alicia Cara since it's kind of a how did I even end up here thing. And yes, Let Me Down Slowly is a good one. You've won America's Got Talent. What do you have to say to everyone out there? Nice. Probably just a thank you, and the admittance that I suddenly got teleported to the stage without having any idea what just happened, lol. You wake up from this wonderful dream, the sun is shining and the birds are tweeting harmoniously. How do you begin your day? Crying and masturbating. Just another day in the office, really. Top 10 unexpected golden buzzers. Using the tears as lube. We're no strangers to love, you know the rules. And so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling, try to make you understand. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Golden buzzer. You bastard. Can I be insanely drunk? Sure thing. What would you do in the semi-finals? A gross stand-up show. And for your final performance? Vomit a lot usually. In Cowell's face, I'll call it the aristocrats. Telling a story about feeling worthless or lost or feeling unfit or undestined for anything, while folding an origami crane with a blindfold on. Punchline. If a plain piece of paper can become something beautiful, I promise you can too. It just takes a lot of confusing moves to discover one that might just unfold before you in all the right ways. I would pretend I faint, so I could get away because it would be just nightmare. Maybe I even wouldn't need to pretend. What happens if you faint, and when you wake up, the crowd has doubled in size? I just faint 23 times so the entire population ends up in the audience, Then I'd run out as fast as I can and go to Area 51 in my Spider-Man costume and release all the aliens. Perpetually faint. Your mom, for the semi-finals. Your sister, for the finals. Both. Missed opportunity to get the dad for the final round. TSK. Start to read out the president's speech from Independence Day. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. I just performed my cancer survivor. I'd do what you others could do, right there, in front of the crowd, on stage, on television. I'd fall asleep, on the floor, in a chair. I'm up for the challenge. An interpretive dance of a Karen asking to speak to a manager. The stage fades to dark. I appear, strutting to the closest helpless looking young adult. I demand unrealistic things and with a twirl of my wrist and a point, I ask to speak to the manager. And scene. Thank you. In the finals, would your background singers be screaming kids? I commit suicide. Simon, the effects are okay, but I can still see the body moving. Gonna have to be a no from me. Golden buzzer. I play Time by Pink Floyd on my Strat and almost hit that highest note just right but not quite. This must be what happened to the tequila guy. I tell the judges and audience what talentless, tasteless idiots they are and get the duck out of there. I do Asian squats quickly, and jump in between each one, sticking the landing with my feet together each time. That probably doesn't count, but if the majority of the audience can't do it, then it counts as a decent performance. Fellatio. I get kicked out immediately for not being a US citizen and not being allowed to be on the show. Like half the contestants aren't American and until recently none of the judges were. You'd be fine. Tell a joke about killing 3 people on a train at night while dressed as a clown. Then tell Simon he is awful and tell another joke about what happens when you cross a mentally ill person with a society that treats him like crap, all while staring him in the eyes. Why are you asking? Depends. Do I have my cello with me? You've got your cello, as well as background musicians to spice things up. What song do you perform? I hope he doesn't do that overplayed cello piece by Bach, but then again, on America's Got